It's 8:58. I did not get my kids to school on time. And I'm not at the gym. I'm actually at the hardware store because Bruce has an idea. And he's going to need some things for that idea. And then I'll be going to the gym. So, I'm going to go handle that. I have been watching on YouTube this morning. There's one video about why tornadoes are so very prevalent in this area rather than the rest of the world. Not to say that they don't happen, just most of them, a huge deal of them, happen in North America, right in the Midwest. And it has a lot to do with the two mountain ranges on either side, warm coastal air coming up from the Gulf, and then cool air coming down from Canada. There's also a tornado alley in South America, and the majority of the ones that do happen in Europe are in Italy and Greece. So that was neat to learn. And then I got pulled into watching a video about all the awful combinations that have been put together with gelatin over the years. Just some awful stuff, like the whole history of gelatin as a dessert, and then the Jello salads that popped up, and I'm aware they call it jelly in the UK, and it's Jello here, and it's kind of like some folks will use a name brand like Kleenex when they mean tissue, or Crayolas when they mean crayons. We just Jello. Although really, I think that's the only name brand of gelatin that I'm aware of. Because there's that, and then there's, well, Knox Gelatin is a name brand, but it's unflavored. Yeah, mostly considered to be a supplement for hair and skin because of the amount of collagen in it. So that's not incorrect. I was thinking about this, all of this, and some of these horrible food combinations, and I remembered watching a TikTok that, I think his name is either B. Dylan Hollis or Dylan B. Hollis did, and he's got great content about these vintage recipes that occasionally turn out absolutely horrid, and he always gives it a taste test, so he's very entertaining to watch. And he had been making something called frog eye salad. And when I had seen this clip, I could practically taste it. I mean, to the point where it looked the exact same, exactly how I was expecting to look, but I didn't have a full memory of why this was coming to mind. So I essentially confronted my mother, and I'm like, I know I've had this before. I can taste it. What is this? Who gave me this? And she told me it was her younger sister, who, like me, had a very weird appetite. I've heard tell of whole unsliced water chestnuts being used as a replacement for meatballs and spaghetti. I've never heard of anyone else doing that ever. I eat all kinds of weird stuff on a regular basis. It really makes me wonder if maybe there's a genetic link there. Because I have raised many an eyebrow. But at this point, maybe I need to make some frog eye salad, since this keeps coming back to my mind. Alright, I'm gonna go in the hardware store now, and then I will be all set for the gym. Alrighty, it is 11:53. There's not enough air conditioning in here. It's warm out. I think my circulation is improving, because normally 63 degrees and I'd be running for my hoodie, but I'm not. I finished up after my workout by getting on one of the hydro massage chairs. My knee is bothering me, the one that I got with a circular saw so many years ago. I have completed my active minutes and my calories burned, even though I couldn't do very much on the treadmill. Now, of course, those are all adjusted. Those are adjusted to fit what my body can do. But I do kind of like seeing those little heart rings close. Feeling like I've accomplished something. I am really, really wanting a smoothie from Smoothie King. And while I was, on the machines and stuff, I looked it up. I looked at the ingredients. I looked at the calorie numbers, considering the size of the cup, taking into account everything. It's mostly made with fresh fruits, cocoa powder, and it's got this delicious dark chocolate banana taste to it. And I'm running on a cup of coffee and a fun-sized packet of M&Ms. So that's not much. So this would fill that out nutritionally. Also make up for lunch. This is as close as I can realistically get to a milkshake, since frozen dairy makes my congestion really bad. One time I was talking about my constant bronchitis with my cousin, and she said she'd been told that only smokers get bronchitis, and that doesn't make any sense, because you would never smoke, so why would you have bronchitis all the time? Oh, that's easy. It's the birth defects. I am starting to feel a little bit cold because we have some very, very high wind, which is also blowing all kinds of pollen and stuff off the trees and irritating my allergies just a bit. But not sponsored, of course. They give me no discounts. I don't even have their rewards program. This is the vegan dark chocolate. I get vegan because I'm absolutely certain it'll be non-dairy. And it's got added oat milk. And this comes out to, I think it was, and this is a 32 ounce. I am fairly certain that this came up as 530 calories. Or possibly closer to 600 once you add the oat milk. It won't be that much difference. And I already burned off more than that at the gym. It's not very sweet. The flavor is very, very, very strong on the cocoa powder and the banana. I know they have figs in there too, but I'm not really picking up the flavor of the figs. And that's sad because I've been wanting some figs lately, but overall it comes off as a dark chocolate banana milkshake, and that's perfect. That's exactly what I want right now. Healthy stuff that tastes like junk food. I decided to go for a walk for just a ways. This big wall right here keeps this little area a little bit less windy. And without the wind, it's warm and comfortable, so that's nice. I'm about a mile from home as the crow flies, but if I were to walk there and try to stay out of other people's land, riverbanks don't count in Texas. And that'd be more like a 4-mile walk. But I'm parked on the other side of that riverbank. This is actually a small creek that flows into a larger river, and the larger river is regularly contaminated. So we don't swim in it. But this has a separate source, so if you go far enough upstream, it's pretty safe to goof around in when it gets hot. I like it here. I haven't been out here in a while. It's a good spot to come out with a 6-pack of beer. Unfortunately, not everyone cleans up their garbage. Some people. Some people weren't raised right. Anyway, this is where I'm at. 1 p.m. I'm back home. I didn't get very far, obviously, because there's a lot of brush, but it's a spot I like to go to. Doesn't do a whole lot for my step count, but a place to just get out in a more natural setting that's not too horribly impacted by the wind is nice. It's good for your mental health. I'm resting up because I do have to go and get my kids at 4. I'm trying to remember if I have to go to the pharmacy before I get them or not. So I didn't get much sleep last night, and part of that was I had to write a somewhat uncomfortable email. We've been looking at church services and scheduling, and we're trying to rotate out the jobs of the folks running the computer and streaming, and so far I'm the only one who's been working the camera. And I was asked if I could do each one of those Sundays and not be rotated, or if we need to find somebody else to do the camera. And I replied that I was talking myself into being a little more reasonable, that working the camera every single Sunday that we have an in-person service is not feasible, that I will begin to get burned out if I keep doing that. But also, even with a more relaxed setting on the tripod that holds the camera, I'm finding it very difficult to move the camera in such a way that isn't jerky. And I mean, I'm used to my phone, and this plastic tripod, and the truth is I'm having issues because my arm is not like everybody else's, because I'm using my left hand for the zoom and my right hand for panning the camera up, down, and side to side. So I talked about how I've got someone in mind I'm going to ask to get involved, but realistically, for a cleaner image, someone else should be doing this, and I will be looking for information on how to frame shots to make it a bit more watchable. And I just hadn't been clear about these physical limitations previously, and everybody's always trying to give me tips, and then I go and talk about something I've learned, usually off the internet, because the internet is a boundless source for educational potential. Oh, I was trying to counterbalance this in the frames. You know what? I can see it in my head, and I can't replicate it with the equipment, because the arm working the tripod arm to move the camera like so doesn't have the smooth motor function. Pan, tilt, zoom. Anyway, they understand and they appreciate my help. It's hard to admit when you can't do something, and it's even harder to admit that you can't do something because you're deformed. These folks are so supportive and kind, though. So it's a little easier to tell them these things, knowing that they're not going to argue with me with ableist excuses like, oh, really? We didn't even notice. We couldn't hardly tell. Oh, I'm sure you're great. You can keep doing this. No. They accept it. And that means so much. And then I was ruminating on that late into the night. I'm not sure how long I'll be like this, but I might get up for a bit, get the rest of my smoothie, and lay back down. It's 4:50-ish. Not 4:50, 3:50. And I'm going to pick up my kids from school. I try not to broadcast too many details of people's lives who don't want their details broadcast on the internet. But my oldest has been asking for a house key of his own for a while. We just haven't really had a reason for him to have one. Because with the current global health concern, there's always an adult home. Well, situations change, and it's become much more reasonable of a request, and he's a responsible young man, so I don't have a reason to say no to that anymore. So I got a house key made, just a duplicate of mine, and I got him a little clip-on keychain in his favorite color. Very masculine, very tough looking. He's gonna like that. A little bit of a surprise this afternoon for him. He's also been helping out more around the house. Helping my mom with some projects she's got going on. They grow up so fast. So I was looking at the slightly more expensive, not horribly expensive, but slightly more pricey options for some of the house keys at the hardware store. And of course they had the little vanity keys with American football teams logos on them, cartoon characters on them, or just tie-dye color. The thing that was catching my eye where he's concerned was there were some that were like an ultralight aluminum, and instead of that tab shape that most keys have, it was a large, very open circle. That seemed like it'd be a lot easier to get a key ring on and off of it, but I didn't really want to go that route. I was concerned aluminum is going to get bent up and busted off. Another thing that caught my eye was there was one that had several tools built into it. That sounds like a Swiss Army knife, but that's not what this was. But for this opening, to work with those, you would have to, you know, he would take it off with the key ring to use it rather than just sliding the key ring to the other side. No, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you just, multi-tool is a great thing to have and carry, especially if you're inclined to fix things at a moment's notice. But just the key. So, just the key. 6:45, and man, it has been a long day. I completely finished one of my 32 ounces at the gym earlier, and I am working on a second rather than drinking diet soda or anything. So that's a bonus. Dinner tonight is my mom made a bunch of very large drumsticks. I'm having some baby carrots and some samosas with it. These came from the freezer case. Usually when I get samosas, they come from a restaurant. My goodness, my family is loud. Usually when I get them from a place called Tarka. And they come with a mint chutney. But what was provided in the box is a cilantro chutney. I don't want to open this in the kitchen where my mom cooks. So I'm going to do that in here on my craft table. I'm going to give it a shot. See how I like it. There's a sink between me and in there. There's a garbage can in here. I'll just take it straight out to the outside trash can when I'm done eating. And John is gonna give it a try too. He's feeling brave. I explained that it's got peas and mashed potato in it, and I think he's willing to try. Alright, it's 12:25. It's been a very long day for me. I haven't even turned on my TV today. I've been watching YouTube, and I just fell into a linguistics rabbit hole about features that English has that many other languages don't have. The stuff I get nerdy about. Despite how warm it was today, it is going to be a degree off of freezing in the morning. So we're back to February weather for the rest of the northern hemisphere. And I did have to toss my snow pants on to go get my oldest from his friend's house earlier. I have them handy to get my kiddos to school in the morning, and then we have an extended weekend. And I'm kind of hoping that I can maybe manage a live during that time, or maybe just catch up on my editing. I don't know what's going to happen. Thanks for sharing my day with me.